Wow. Tons and tons have been going on. Obviously, so much to talk about. We're going to focus on one simple thing, just you, just me. No Fever organization, no Fever sycophants in the media, no Slurp FC. We have to have a conversation about what the Fever are currently doing that looks like, well, actually even worse than a repeat of last season. Because if we take a look at this, here is what we were seeing, folks. Now, I told you in a previous video about what ESPN reported, and now we have it directly on the Fever website. Game preview Friday, Golden State Valkyries. Probable starters: Ty Harris at guard, not Caitlin Clark. Ty Harris at guard. There is no Caitlin Clark in the lineup for Friday. By the way, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. As always, truly appreciate all your support. Quick favor, I know I ask every time, like, comment, make sure you're subscribed. It really does matter. It has been a wild, wild few days. Now, keep in mind all the shifting stories that we've heard. It was reported by Fever Media, load management. Then Stephanie White says, no, she's healthy. It's not load management, but she's not playing. Well, she's either not healthy or it's load management, or, of course, there was a suspension, but there is another possibility that we're going to get into here in a moment. So obviously it has been absolute chaos with what the Indiana Fever have done the last minute. We've got this as well that tacks onto that, and major media is starting to notice what's going on, right? Not the WNBA bubble media, but major media. USA Today was talking about the way the Fever handled this, or maybe mishandled this is a lot more appropriate. We've got major organizations and media talking about things like this. Caitlin Clark's late scratch sparks WNBA injury report questions. Even though Clark wasn't on the Fever's Tuesday injury report, her coach said she didn't participate in practice that day and was later ruled out of Wednesday's game. And of course, Fever local media, not a peep from them that Caitlin Clark was not practicing. Of course, we have heard excuses that because she was there, the media didn't realize that she hadn't practiced. And we've seen a whole lot of twisting and turning. It feels like the Fever media is 24/7 a spin machine, a propaganda machine, defending defending Stephanie White against normal fans, which are the Caitlin Clark fans. It's kind of wild. It's almost the opposite of what they should be doing. By the way, just thought I'd put this out there because maybe, Slurp FC could learn a thing or two. As you all know, big Philly fan, big, huge Eagles fan, like my new hat. The Philadelphia Eagles were just recently named the #1 fan base in the NFL. Now, if you know anything about us as a fan base, we are not easy to please. We are not quiet. We do not simp for front offices or coaching staff or even players. We are hardcore. Although it's easy to win us over as a player. Give us everything you have. Be that type of player that's willing to run through a brick wall to make a play. Appreciate the fans, acknowledge the fans. You're good to go for the rest of your career, the rest of your life, probably. It really is that simple. But in this day and age, apparently, that is something that a lot of players find very difficult. Our Super Bowl year 2 years ago, we wanted our coach fired after a 2-2 start, and we were loud about it. So this nonsense about Caitlin Clark fans being like normal sports fans and somehow that is wrong, absolutely absurd. They are pissed off about all of this, and they have every right to be, and they should be, without a doubt. Let's dig into this a second, but I want to get to the big thing after this in a minute that I'm really curious what y'all think about as well. Now, the Indiana Fever's abrupt announcement that Caitlin Clark would miss Wednesday night's game against the Portland Fire with a back injury made just over an hour before tip-off has sparked widespread confusion. And by the way, see, that's the thing. They still have not said that it's a back injury, as we all know, which is crazy enough in and of itself, right? League rules. Do I have the right one open for y'all? I think I do. Here we go. League rules stipulate all matters relating to player availability must be submitted by 5 p.m. the day before the game, unless during back-to-backs. Clark did not practice on Tuesday, which should have been reported by Indiana. The team instead waited until just before the game to announce her injury. Stephanie White pleaded complete ignorance of the knowledge of Caitlin Clark having back soreness when she woke up, and apparently only found out at 5 p.m. Now, I don't know if that's 5 Central, which would only be an hour before the game, right? Or if she was, I mean, I would assume that's where she is. She would say 5 Central, which means it was what, an hour before tip off, not 2 hours. It's 7 p.m. tip off here on the East Coast. So that we know is a problem. And of course, we also had this, just a quick reminder, because I didn't show the video in the last one, but this is only a few seconds long. Pay attention to the very beginning. That's all we're going to play, because you have to listen to what she says, right? And also look at her facial expression.
I have a question about fouling, so not Caitlin.
Yeah. Thank you.
But
Very, very excited to not have a question about the face of the league, about the superstar. Explain to me why Stephanie White took this job.
I have a question about fouling, so not Caitlin.
Yeah. Thank you.
But
That's nuts. I've never heard anything like that. Never heard anything like that. Now we are going to get to the big news. We have waived guard Shatori Walker Kimbrough. Thank you, Tori. So I had mentioned the Fever website thing to Rose at Black and White Sports, and of course he came back with right away, hey, what about Caitlin Clark is in the process of being traded, right? Which is something we all kind of like, oh, that would be great. We've kind of put it out there here and there. But in talking with Rose, right, his point, and it's 100% valid, I agree, is in all the other major sports, this is 100% normal, where a disgruntled star demands a trade, and then while in those talks that look like, they will come to fruition soon, that player, because of risk to injury and all of that, is pulled out of the lineup and they sit. Now, a few things with this. Again, for those of you, maybe this is your first foray into sports fandom and this and that because of Caitlin Clark, that is very normal, right? Eagles are going through it right now with our star wide receiver, one of the best in the league, AJ Brown. It was a bit of a drama thing all season long. I won't get into that crazy ordeal with the media, but it happens all the time. We've had it happen here in Philly with guys. Jimmy Butler is an NBA player who I think probably happened to him 2 or 3 times where he's gotten fed up and demanded trades. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, it happens all the time, rightly or wrongly. And so here are the things with that. If this were the NBA, or if the WNBA were that successful, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, that makes the most plausible sense. My questions and hesitancy with the WNBA is, I don't know if Caitlin is that type of player, at least yet. I mean, maybe she is. I know she's a hardcore competitor. She's not dumb. So maybe she did finally get fed up and say, hey, you know what? I want out. This isn't going to work. I've seen enough. I need to get out. By the way, even Rachel Dumita is like, I don't think the Fever are the future for Caitlin Clark. I wonder if Slurp FC is going to be okay with that. Plus, maybe we're validated right now. And, and the other thing is, like I said, I lean toward Caitlin not wanting to do that, but I could be wrong. And then the other thing is, are the Fever crazy enough to do that? I mean, I think they basically have lost the fan base at this point anyway, but it's going to be a slower decline. Whereas if they just trade her, they're cooked. They're done. They're going back, to 4,000 fans a night. Still be a good team. I mean, let's face it, relative to the rest of the WNBA, still be a good team. But again, if you step back from the context of the WNBA and we look at this as this is the NBA, this is, NFL, Major League Baseball, whatever, I say, yeah, you know what? It really does look like that because again, I get the back brace. I get that first game, her going into the hallway for adjustments and all that. But remember, not long after that, they made a big deal at practice about Caitlin Clark like jumping on the table and the scoring table and dancing and everything. She did not look like she was favoring her back on the bench at that game. Her parents were in town. There's been a lot of talk lately about where are her parents? Why are they not going to games? Are they fed up? Or are they just like, hey, it's not that close. Caitlin's 24. It's not youth. We're not going to be at every single game. But it would be absolutely wild to me if she got traded, but absolutely is a possibility with the way things are going right now. But there aren't a whole lot of options, and we keep hearing different answers. We keep hearing conflicting answers. Injury or not, why is she out? It was, her back was a little sore. She's healthy, though. We're not load managing, but we're keeping her out, which is load managing. but she played 24 minutes last game, which was Sunday. Then this game was Wednesday. It wasn't back to back. It wasn't even, 2 days later. And now we've gone from Sunday, where she only played 24 minutes, to Friday, where she is out again. Wow, a trade would be absolutely wild. And then again, you have this waiving, which frees up roster space on the Indiana Fever to get back multiple players for Caitlin Clark. Give the point guard duties to Ty and Raven. Maybe they went and got another big. If they're probably getting a couple of players, I'm guessing they got a starter that they want to, put in at the 3. Maybe they're upgrading on, Mo Billings and put Mo Billings back as a very, very good, maybe, 6th player type player off of the bench. Also a possibility, but it's absolutely wild that is something that we are even thinking about at this point. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, appreciate you being here. Like, comment, subscribe. Go have the day you deserve. I will talk to you later.